moderator is going to talk about one of the roles which traditionally we think of it kind of being as behind the scenes, but in contests they can really be important, and sometimes right up front. They are the right hand of the conscious chair and the right hand of the chief judge. So Eric Muehling tonight is going, and he's doing Pathways Dynamic Leadership, Research, and Presenting. And he's talking about being the Zoom master. Toastmasters concepts are dynamic and let me start that sentence again. Toastmasters contests are dynamic and exciting events. And those who run those contests have well-defined roles and responsibilities. Toastmaster Eric Muehling will discuss the Zoom master role in the virtual world of Zoom, which I guess would be the Zoomosphere. Eric.
Thanks, Game Master. I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. So during the pandemic, Zoom became a household word for video conferencing. In fact, Zoom is the most popular video conferencing platform with over 300 million users a day. This is going to be mostly a technical presentation. Some of you already know what it is to be a Zoom master. You know your way around Zoom. But this will be a review for some of you, and it's going to be the basics. I hope you get something out of it. Obviously, the basics. Download the Zoom app now. You'll be downloading a different app for your laptop or your desktop, for a tablet or your phone. This is the first step. It certainly runs more efficiently if you're running it from the application, not through a web page. So get that app on your laptop and then create an account. Now, Zoom is very simple and easy to use. And you need to explore all the settings on Zoom. So in the first page, in the splash screen for Zoom, there's a little gear icon in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that and you will have access to all the settings in Zoom. And I just kind of recommend that you take a walkabout through all these settings and familiarize yourself with all that Zoom can do. And then finally, launch a meeting. Launch that meeting early. You know, a lot of people want to show up and get comfortable in the environment. Or early beginners will be feeling anxious and they may be asking for help. And so launch a meeting early, always. The Zoom Master is a co-host. According to John Stopchick, I will quote him, the Zoom Master will support the primary roles and take the responsibility of those roles as needed. As was mentioned, the Zoom Master is the right-hand person who is there to help out in anybody in any role. And if somebody drops out, they can step in. So the Zoom Master really needs to know their way around Zoom. First thing I do is I organize my workspace. Again, I'm on a laptop, and I do recommend that you use either a large screen or a laptop to host or to join in Zoom, because, well, you need a lot of screen real estate. And what you're looking at here is 3 windows. This is a screenshot of my entire laptop screen, and there's the Zoom window. There are my notes for this presentation, and over here, here's the agenda for tonight. I am all in on having at least 3 windows open at one time in Zoom. So some helpful tips. I spoke with Angela Ritchie, and she said she started off on a tablet and the controls were a bit different. She eventually migrated to a laptop and she prefers that. Absolutely. It is most efficient to have all the controls available at all times at the bottom of your screen. So how do you practice? One way is to launch a meeting and then join that meeting on another device. And that's exactly what I have a picture of right here. I launched the meeting on my laptop computer. I signed into that meeting as a participant on my iPhone. And so when I started screen sharing, I could see exactly what the participant sees. And that gave me some confidence that I was correctly screen sharing. So that's how you can practice. Let's go through the Zoom controls. They're all at the bottom of the screen if you're on a laptop or a desktop computer. And starting on the left, there is the mute button. Most of us just simply mute and unmute, but there are more controls. You get to select your microphone if you have microphone options. You get to test your speaker and just run your eye through those controls and settings. The next control over is start video. And for most of us, we just start it, we stop it, and that's all there is to it. But if you want to know more about it, select advanced video settings and explore all the options that you have with video settings. Security can be important, and there are a number of options that are available, and some of those options are only available when you start your Zoom. So be aware that you can create passwords, waiting rooms, and then you can allow participants to join anytime or not. You can allow you can mute all participants on entry, which I think is a good idea. You can automatically record to the local computer, which I think is nice, but maybe not unnecessary, since Zoom is going to record it on the cloud. And you can actually have multiple, and you can block entry for users from specific regions and countries. I didn't know all that. So participants list. The host or the co-host can mute or stop a participant's video. I think it's a good practice to for the Zoom master to keep an eye on whether anybody's just left their microphone on, and they're back there with the dog barking in their room and they don't know it. And so I think that the Zoom master is going to keep an eye on all the participants and make sure they're muted unless it's their turn to speak. I spoke with Becky Hasselbrock. She is a member of an organization and that she Zooms where they regularly have 250 to 500 participants. And she said with a large meeting, imagine trying to find the speaker in that list to make them co-host so that they can be a presenter. Or so that they can share their screen. She said there are times when she's got 500 people, that's over 20 pages full of people. And another thing, if you're giving reactions and you think you're making sure everybody knows your reaction, truth is, I only see the reactions on one screen at a time. And if there are 500 people out there and 20 pages, I'm only going to see the reactions of a few people. So maybe those reactions are mostly for your own edification and not for that of others. Chat, of course, is important in the Zoom master, or somebody can be assigned to watch this chat. The advanced screen share options, by default, only one participant can share at a time. I think that's a good choice. And who can share? The host only, and probably not all participants. I think that would be a mess if everybody had the option to share at once. How would you control that? Recording, you can pause and start recording. Reactions, I talked a little bit about that. If it's fun for you to make reactions, fine. I go to borough assembly meetings, planning commission meetings all the time. I raise my hand to speak, and I'm always forgetting to drop my hand after speaking. And so the chair has to say, Mr. Muehling, did you have another question? Zoom controls include Zoom apps. And I don't have any experience with Zoom apps, but Zoom apps launch and work within the Zoom application. It sounds really cool. I'd like to see a demonstration of that someday by somebody else, but it sounds pretty neat. Breakout rooms. Roberta talked a little bit about this, but there's the need, of course, for small section collaboration with groups. And that can be in the context of a contest. You would want to have a meeting for all your contestants, a meeting for your judges, a meeting room for other purposes. And so breakout rooms are essentially private meeting rooms, and you can create those pretty easily. Sharing your screen. Zoom shows you all the active windows and applications. Pick one to share. You might consider reducing the number of windows that are open and applications that are open and active on your computer before you start to share. Then you don't have to hunt for the one that you want to share. So Zoom displays a shared window. A green box is around the content that you're sharing. And so look on the left side of this screen, that what is surrounded with green is what everybody else will see. There is the controls have moved up to the top, and maybe those controls are covering some other options and menu options that you need to have access to. Know that the Zoom controls, when you're sharing your screen, are modal. You can click on them and drag them around, put them someplace on the screen real estate where they're not in the way. So helpful tips. You may be nervous the first time you're a Zoom master. Oh, I was nervous the first time. The first time I was a Zoom master was for my for my church service, and we record all of our services and put them online. And I forgot to record. So of all the services, there are a couple that are missing, and I really still feel pretty bad about that. But do know you can have a checklist of things that you want to do. One of the options with Zoom when you set up a meeting is record automatically, and really that's what we ought to do. Practice with a dry run. You've heard that. Have a back channel. Make sure that if you are part of the team that's running a Zoom, that you know the phone numbers, and you can text if somebody drops out, if there are network issues, if there's an earthquake and you want to be able to restart the meeting and get everybody back online. It's great to have a back channel. Back channel is simply everybody having everybody else's cell phones and emails. So being a Zoom master, I recommend tutorials by Marcia Chadley. There's the URL for her YouTube videos. She's got dozens of tutorials on Zoom. I recommend her. She's entertaining, she's clear and thoughtful, and they're fun. I'll put that hashtag in the chat window. And with that, I return control to our game master, Kyle.
Game over.